So, I want to move on slightly now. I suppose one thing to sum all of that up really is just kind of just to leave you with is a phrase. I just think it helps people kind of sum that last section up. It's a bit of a rehash of a well-known phrase. When the coachee is ready, come on there, the coach will appear. Okay, so when the student is ready, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So when the coachee is ready, that coach will appear. And I think that's what it's really down to. The struggles I've had personally, okay, I was resistant to coaching when I was assigned my first coach. First time it was formally assigned, and I showed resistance to that at times. Okay, so the coach was there, but it didn't really appear to me. And this is a world-class coach. I'm still in touch with him now. He's an absolutely amazing guy. It wasn't anything to do with the coach at all. It was all me. Okay. The boring side of this is I wrote my dissertation on coaching cultures, and what I found there was I worked with the National Trust on a very early project. I have my dissertation in the back pocket. I just apply my dissertation to the National Trust, and we'll start working on coaching culture. What we found there was that really fantastic coaches think about the organisation with your own perception, and really akin to the philosophy of coaching, the type of organisation they were. So I trained up 16 fantastic internal lead coaches. Okay, then we partnered them to be. We partnered them with 16 people in the talent program, the high flyers. Okay, so I thought it was great, amazing coaches, really quality coaches. And then what was finding very mixed results from that. We did all the work to prepare 16 coaches and nothing to prepare 16 people that really mattered because they were the customer. It was hit or miss. Some people got it, some people didn't. And it does depend. If you had a boss who's coached you, then you'd be higher in coachability. What was your education, family, all that stuff, like what does that mean? That will influence where you're at in terms of coachability. So it does matter kind of where that's come from, I suppose. Okay. One of the quotes that I found in the book, which really worked for me, was Ginger Rogers, no introduction needed hopefully. She said, I do everything he does, talking about a guy called Fred, everything he does backwards. I thought, that's interesting. And then she said, and in high heels. Okay? And I think it's a lovely example of coaching because there's two to tango, It's not just a lead. There is a bit of a lead in coaching, which is fine, if it is in that particular dance. But I'm doing everything he does backwards and in high heels. Talk about with empathy. What's it like to empathise with a coachee who's finding things tough right now, never been coached before? And I've worked in personal development all my life. So to go into a coaching environment or a workshop environment is second nature to me. But I know when some people sit in a workshop or one-to-one coaching, there's a lot more going on for them. And they're doing it backwards and in high heels. I can empathise with one of the two things I mentioned there. Alright, a little bit, but it was a long time ago.
Sorry, whose coach is that?
This?
Yeah.
That's me.
Ah, really?
Yeah, so the idea is from, stealing the well-known phrase, when the pupil or student is ready, the teacher will appear. So I do that quite a bit, stealing words. Okay. So the question really now is, if this is what it's all about, these are percentages, what does good coaching look like? And a good way to look at it is if someone can self-coach, then they're probably coachable. Okay? And if you're coaching someone, and let's say you've had a few sessions together, okay, coaching Claire, and the bit that I love is where I get to meet Claire, and at some point we sit down, and she goes, right Stuart, this is what I've done, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I feel about this. She's chatting away. I go off, make a cup of tea, come back, she's still chatting away. She's self-coaching. That's where you want to get to. And the same in leadership, you want to get to the point where you're invisible. It's not about the coach, the clue's in the name. It's not about me, the coach, it's about the coachee or whatever term you're using. When you get to that point of self-coaching, that's where the magic happens, that's where the return on investment kicks in.